What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Kids Unboxing. Today's going to be a very special episode. I'm going to be unboxing the Optimus Prime from Bumblebee, the DXL collectible figure. This guy came in the mail yesterday, and I pre-ordered it from Sideshow about, I think it's like a month or two ago. Finally came in. I know it got delayed a little bit because of the whole virus thing, but I'm super excited to review it with you guys and show you guys my opinion. So yeah, let's get started. So here it is. This figure, right away, looking at it, super detailed, super cool. I know it's supposed to be posable kind of like figure, like it's not like a still statue where they pre-pose it for you, which is kind of cool because it gives you all these options to play with. I believe the maker is 30. It's like a hazmat for their logo. On the base it says Transformers Bumblebee, which I assume is referring to the movie, not the actual toy itself, which is kind of weird that they would do that, but we'll get into that later. Here it is. It's about, I think, 18 inches tall. There's two other figures that I think you could get with the set. It's I believe it's Soundwave and Bumblebee, and I think there's like a larger scale Bumblebee as well. For accessories, the figure comes with 5 left hands and 4 right hands. Obviously, it comes with the pistol as well. And what's cool about this feature is it has a little removable mag. And then you can see like the bullet inside, and it clips back in. It also has light up eyes, which is super cool as well. You open up the top, and you can put in your little batteries in there, slide it in, and close it back up. And I think there's like a little switch back here. What else? So I guess let's get into some of the positive things about this figure that I noticed. So when it comes to posing him, a lot of the joints move with the positioning. If I don't know if that makes sense, but here, let me take him off his base real quick. So as far as like the knee joint, it's not just one pivoting point where it just bends. There's about 2 pivoting points. Actually, no, 3. So there's the upper point that pivots, then there's the second knee joint that pivots, and then to get that full extension, you have this third pivoting point that also bends. So you get like super dynamic poses with him, which obviously is the purpose of this figure, is to make it kind of like a do-it-yourself posable figure. On the box, it clearly says "is not a toy," which I don't know if that's supposed to be a joke or not. But I mean, it is definitely a high-end quality figure, and it's which is really cool about it. The base is pretty simple. There's 2 joints on it with an extender. So I'm gonna show you. So it moves forward. Moves back, obviously. Then you have this piece that you just pull it out and then you can pull it up and it's posable. I don't know if you want to do something like super crazy with them, and then you have this that extends. None of this really, I would say, helps with posing him, considering the base is like a decent size, so pushing it forward, there's no space for his feet to go. So I mean, I'll get into all the negative stuff later, but let's talk about the positive stuff. So positive stuff, this figure is obviously super dynamic, which is really cool. You have all these options to work with, especially it's kind of like if you were to compare it to anything, it'd be like a Sideshow or a Hot Toys figure. Super high end but posable. I really love that, and it being like a mechanical piece to give it that natural ability to pose. let's say like a sideshow or a Hot Toys figure where it's, all the joints are covered with clothes, or some of the pieces are made out of rubber and it hides most of the joints but not all of them. With this one it's kind of hard because everything's exposed, all the joints are exposed, so to give it that natural bend without making it look like a like a Walmart toy, it's pretty difficult, but they did a good job. As far as the joints, when there's certain areas where things bend, yet it exposes more of the, I would say, sculpture, more armor. So like in the back right here, you have, it's what's visible of the spine, but then you choose to, bend it forward a little bit more, and instead of it being like an empty space or like a blank, generic like addition, where it's where they assume it's going to be covered up. So what's the point of going the extra mile, doing all that detail? Instead, it exposes more of the spine, more of the detail, and it bends in a pretty natural way, so it doesn't look, awkward. None of it looks awkward. Even the joints here, there's multiple like pivoting points, so it's not just like a simple like forward and back. You can, and it's great because when it exposes more of the piece, when it bends, it looks like that's how it's supposed to be. As to like you bend it, and then you give away the illusion, oh, that's the joint. You don't really know where it bends, and they do a pretty good job in the knee, more than so. Here, let me give you a close look. So yeah, that's the knee, and when it bends, it just exposes more of the piece, or you can see it better from the inside. It exposes more of the piece, so it looks natural. It doesn't look, I would just say like artificial, and it like there's pieces that like obviously exposed but also bend and kind of shape to the position, meaning, for example, like these pieces on the side, these little flaps, it moves with the piece, so it never gets in the way, it never holds you back from positioning it in a way you'd like to. There's like pieces here, especially in the foot area. There's like these little joints here. So when you're positioning the foot, it keeps those pieces connected and tight, but it also moves just enough so you can position the foot however you want. And it's a really cool feature about this figure. Even in the head, there's like multiple joints. There's I believe this is a ball bearing joint. Obviously at the top of the head you can move it, but down in the center, down deeper, there's a second ball joint. So it's on two ball joints. So it has full dynamic positioning, and it's really cool. Like I could tell, they took there's a lot of engineering that went into making this figure. All the hands. Obviously, it would have probably been a lot harder to make each individual hand posable. It would have probably been a lot more fragile. So I appreciate them going the extra mile, making all these different posable hands. There's about, like I said, there's 5 left hands and then 4 right ones. I'm not really sure why. It's an uneven number. Maybe one of them's probably more. This is the 5th one. So this one they don't have for a left hand. I can't really point, literally, what pose this came from in the movie, but yeah, it's a pretty interesting pose. So yeah, as far as the positioning and the way it poses, pretty well done, very well engineered. I think it's such a brilliant way of kind of giving you like a hands-on statue to work with. It makes it kind of interactive and fun. Where it's never boring. I mean, someone could probably pose it in one position and leave it on the shelf forever, but it also gives you the option, if you're reorganizing your statues, to change it up and consistently change it up, because there is also other figures it comes with. So having the 3 of them, And I'm sure if they end up making more of these, you'll have a whole kind of diorama to work with. And yeah, posability of the figure is great. The paint job is also great. It's not just like they put this kind of chrome or like rusty metal on it. It has like layers, it has dimensions. It doesn't look uniformed. There's different shades of gray. There's different, darknesses of dirt, and even the red, has like this kind of like dirt, or like I guess it would be kind of like oil wash on it. The blue has this like, scraped off look to it, where like it's the paint's chipping, so there's the visibility of the metal underneath. Even the wheels, they really went the extra mile to give them that little like where the track is, the grip. It has like this kind of like road dirty like wash in it, and they could have just made it like a simple wheel, it's just charcoal gray and that's it. But they also put like washes in it, and it's just such a great figure. Even adding the electronics in the head, it gives it this uniform like lifeness to it. Like it's not just like a toy that you can see that was like pieced together, and you see different types of material. You see the plastic, you see which one's plastic, you see which one's metal. There is metal in him. There's actually a good amount. I think it's more within the skeletal structure of him and less on like the outer pieces. But he definitely has some weight to him for him to just be considered like a plastic statue. Like he's definitely not all plastic. So like there's the weight, there's the detail within each posable position, and then the paint job is great, and then the little addition to the electronics is awesome. And I think this is such a great figure. I believe I purchased it at around $250. I can't really remember. It was like $250. Pre-ordered it obviously from Sideshow, and such a great deal for what it is. As I said, it stands at 18 inches. It's super interactive of a figure, and I think that said, those are all the great things I have to say about this figure. And there's not really anything negative. I'd have to say there's probably about one thing that I notice immediately that I think I should point out, and that is the base. So obviously the base is the base. It's not, in some ways it's not the whole sculpture, but in some ways it is, because when you have a sculpture or a statue with this amount of detail and this amount of effort that's going into it, you would hope the base kind of mirrors that in a way, but it almost looks like they were considering just mass producing the figure, and last minute they decided to make a base for it, because I'm sure it didn't go that way, but just seeing the amount of effort that went into the base, it's really sad. This whole back piece, I understand it's to keep with it's supposed to allow you, when posing the figure, to kind of hold it in place, because obviously if you want to do something crazy, this base allows you to hold in weird, awkward positions where just pinning it at the bottom of the feet wouldn't allow you to do. But it's super lazy. On this side, you guys can see there's like a dozen different like screw holes, and they're all visible. It's just empty little holes. There's tons of joints. You could see like right in the middle, there's the little valley where this piece like rides up. Here, let me see. So you have all this visible. So when you push it forward, obviously it slides up, it pulls back, but it's obviously plastic, but it just feels cheap. There's hardly even any painting in it. It almost looks like there's not. There's 100% no painting on this piece right here, you can see there's some like black fogginess, but that could just be like oil from me, holding it so much. But it's just like a uniformed colored, cheap little plastic stand. It almost feels like it can't really support this figure. All that's holding this from moving forward is this little like pushing clip that like locks it in place. But it's so easy to just like pop it off, and if that breaks, this whole thing is it won't function anymore. So that, and in the front of the base it says 30, which I assume is the company that created the figure, and then Transformers Bumblebee. And there's no like Optimus Prime. Like it's a base labeled with a label of the movie, and the company I assumed created it, and then that's it. No reference to the actual character that's on the base, the actual statue itself, which for me just came off kind of weird. I don't know if they got lazy, and making an individual stencil for each base would have been more expensive than having like a universal stencil that just says Transformers Bumblebee and that's it. Which in the end, it is the movie. That's what the movie was about. Was just about Bumblebee, and Optimus was just a cameo in a way, or maybe like a side character. But the statue is Optimus, so to take away that name from the display is kind of weird, considering also the base is pretty cheap. So yeah, as far as the negative things I have to say about the figure, it's just the base. I mean, you could get past it, and to some degree you don't even need it, especially if it's so heavy, and it's bottom heavy too. So most likely whatever pose you decide to use would work to stand it up. So yeah, you don't really need this, but I mean, it's a part of the figure. If you want to use it, use it. Yeah, so also this clips in on the back. There's another piece that pops in to close that hole up. But obviously you need to take it out in order to put this in. But yeah, that said, this figure is a great figure. I really love it. This was one of the things I bought kind of like impulsively. Didn't really look into what the figure was about, what it came with. It was just, I didn't even know how tall it was. I just saw it. I remember watching the movie, and I loved the new designs of the Transformers, with the classic look yet modernized, like it should have been. And so I saw Optimus, and I pre-ordered it immediately. Didn't really think about it until last month, when apparently it was supposed to come in. Finally came in, and I'm just like lost for words. It's such a great figure. I think for what I paid, such a great price. This is one of those collectibles that, it's a very unique piece, and if anyone was looking into purchasing it, I would really recommend it. Like I said, beware of the base. It doesn't reflect the statue as far as quality goes. It's kind of just there to hold it up, and that's really it. I mean, it would have been nice if it wasn't so prominent in the back. Like, it's this big, massive, I have no idea even what it's supposed to be, but the base, another thing about the base is it's made for him to stand up straight, because once you spread it out even just like a little bit, even by like half an inch, his foot's already hanging off. Like on this side it's like borderline, but on this side his foot's hanging off. So it's kind of weird. I mean, they did what they could. I'm sure they weren't so focused about the base at the time, but then once they realized how heavy the figure was, I'm sure that they considered making something that was easy and cheap to mass produce. So, other than the base, this figure's great. Obviously, you didn't buy the statue for the base; you bought it for the figure, and you take that away, and this was such a great buy. Such a great quality figure, and if anyone was looking into purchasing it, yeah, highly recommend it. Ratings, if I were to rate it out of 10, it would be a 9.5 out of 10. If it wasn't for the base, it would be a 10 out of 10, definitely. It has weight, it has detail, it has, that interactive, thing going on with it, which is pretty cool and pretty unique, in my opinion. So, yeah, that said, I hope you guys enjoyed me reviewing this figure. There's tons to come, tons more statues I have coming in to show off. And if there's anything you guys are really interested in me reviewing, definitely, put it down in the comments. I'll look through them. And yeah, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please subscribe, leave a like, and I'll see you guys in the next video.